Hello and welcome to the Hotkeys podcast, your shortcut to various opinions on all things pop culture. This is the episode for the week of November the 2nd, 2023. My name is David Parker. I am your host this week, and joining me today is...
Landon Browning,
Wil Dobratz,
and Colby Chapman.
Michael Parker is gone tonight. Don't know where he is, but maybe he'll be back next week.
We are issuing a silver alert.
Yes, if you see him or
Last
hear from
seen
him,
at the Golden Corral.
please notify one of us immediately. Thank you. You can find our contact information online. I have everyone's personal phone number on there except for mine. Let's see. You guys have been playing a lot of. You guys have been playing a lot of Spider-Man stuff. Will and Landon are playing Spider-Man 2, and Colby, did you say you just beat Miles Morales?
I just beat Miles Morales.
I believe all of us have finished that game, correct?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to share your thoughts on it since you just recently finished the game?
I thought it was fun. I liked the gameplay. I thought it was smoother, which I liked, like the original Spider-Man. But I don't know. I guess just playing this one now, you can realize like maybe some of the web mechanics were a little like choppy. If that makes sense.
What do they add, what's different from the first game? I guess because it's been I have not played the first game since its release.
I haven't either. It's way smaller.
I do remember it being a very short game, like a very short game.
There is snow on the map in this new one.
Yes.
Miles Morales.
In Miles Morales, there's snow on the map.
It's Christmas time Spider-Man.
It's the same exact map, right?
Yes.
Oh, you
No.
mean New York
Actually,
City?
no. There's snow.
Well, I mean, but like size-wise, like it's the same.
You mean New
If you
York
don't
City?
count the snow, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I
But
don't.
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know if anything was new per se. Oh,
Camouflage.
camouflage, and he has like venom, right? That's what it's called,
Yeah,
like
Venom.
the venom power.
I do remember that being really
They-
That was a
cool.
lot of fun.
abilities.
That was a lot of fun to play with.
I think I like the aesthetic of Miles Morales' Spider-Man a bit better with like the camouflage and like the electric powers. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Although there's something special about Peter Parker. Just like
He's the
an
OG.
average dude. Yeah. What do you think of the story, Colby, of Miles Morales?
Oh, I skipped all the cutscenes.
I wouldn't blame you.
Wait, do you have to beat the
You
game
like the story?
twice to get the platinum?
Yeah,
Yeah.
New Game Plus. You had to do the same
Okay,
thing for Spider-Man.
I think I did that in Miles
Did you
Morales,
do
where the
Spider-Man?
second
I don't
time.
think you had to do it in Spider-Man.
Or the second
you
time-
didn't have to do New Game
Were
Plus.
those separate? Because there were New Game Plus trophies.
Yeah, but it wasn't tied to the platinum.
Yeah.
For the first one.
I think the same thing
Promise?
is going to happen with Spider-Man 2, where there's no New Game Plus right now. It'll be coming here in a couple months.
But Miles
you do
Morales
for
was
the
like that,
Miles
right?
Morales.
Because I thought I remember playing it twice, and the second time just beating the story like in one quick sitting, and then just skipping every cutscene. And it probably took just a couple hours, I feel like.
The story's super short.
It's pretty short.
I don't even remember
to
what
answer your-
happens in that story, to be honest.
Yeah. To answer your question, I don't hate it. It's just like,
It wasn't.
It's
like,
pretty mid.
it was okay. It was mid. Yeah, I would say it was mid.
Just another sad thing happening to a Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
I liked the involvement with the Prowler though.
Prowler.
Prowler's cool. I like Prowler.
That game, Miles Morales, it's so short that the thing I think of the most when I think about that game is a fantasy football trade that I made with Will and Jordan, because one night when I was playing the game, the whole time we were like doing details
Talking shop?
on our three-way trade, which was the
Yeah.
only three-way trade I think we've done in our league so far. And when I think of Miles Morales, no joke, the first thing that pops into my mind is the trade talks with Jordan and Will in that party, just because there was so much wheeling and dealing, and there was some big assets that were moved around.
Yeah, there was, honestly. I think the biggest asset, probably Baker Mayfield. would
Okay,
move,
stop.
Goes.
Honestly.
Okay, so and then Will and Landon, you guys started the new game, Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The PlayStation says I am 44% of the way through the story.
I am 22%, I think. Not through the story, like
Total.
like total
Completion. I think my total completion is like 30 something.
Yeah. So I don't think the story's supposed to be very long in this game either.
No.
So
I heard it's pretty fast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play those games.
No, I'm not
The
saying it's
story
bad. I'm not
doesn't make sense.
complaining. I'm not complaining about a short story.
Like I really like the gameplay and like I like open world collectibles.
yeah. So there's lots of side stuff to do.
Does it feel like a new game, or does it feel kind of like Miles Morales felt to the first Spider-Man game?
It just feels like a slight improvement. Like they add I feel like your abilities are easier to use. Like I like they map stuff to the L1 and R1 for your specials and your like just tapping R1 is like your web. Then if you hold it, you get like the face buttons become like your additional like gadgets, as opposed to like act like
It's like a quick menu or something.
yeah. I think in the first one like you just had a radial, like, and you
Yeah.
like activated which thing you were using, if I remember correctly.
And you like this new way better because
I like-
I'm a
like-
fan of like the radial.
I like this one. It makes it easier, like quicker in combat
Okay.
this way, I think. But yeah, it feels just like an extension, like a slight improvement on everything, but like nothing groundbreaking, in my opinion. Like, which is I'm fine with. I didn't need anything crazy.
Yeah, if you didn't like the first one, this one's not going to win you over. It's more of the same, basically.
I mean,
I like the story
I
so
liked
far.
the first game a lot. I thought it was fun
Yeah.
to play. I really don't
Yeah.
remember the story much, but I remember just the gameplay being really fun.
I just and the only I really like the first one too. It's just some sequels radically kind of improve upon the first in a lot of ways. This is definitely not that. It's just it's more like optimized rather than improved, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, story so far is good. I don't know where it's going, so I'm kind of excited to see where it goes.
Is it
Yeah.
the first game? Was it introducing the Sinister Six or something? Is that what they did?
No, you fight them in the first
All of them?
game.
Yeah,
I believe
think
so.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I
I
guess I don't remember. Bad
won't
memory
spoil
over
who you
here.
fight in the second one,
Yeah,
but
don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
because Colby, you know nothing, all right,
Mm-mm.
about it.
I don't want to know anything.
And then
I still don't know anything besides base. I don't think I know anything now that I'm like this much in the game. Like any of the brief stuff I saw, maybe like a few minutes of gameplay that I'd seen before I played the game. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything past that. So
but yeah,
it's
I
good.
enjoy it. I like it.
And then
I'm excited to play it.
Will, you are also playing. So you're playing was it Alan Wake 2?
Yes. Yeah, I'm playing Alan Wake 2. That came out, I think, on Friday. So, we're recording. So it came out 6 days ago on the 27th of October, and it's been awesome. I love this game so far, but there are quite a few things that I don't like about it necessarily, or I maybe not like, but there's like some pretty interesting flaws that I want to talk. So it's definitely one of the scariest games I've ever played.
Really?
But almost at the cost of it fully transitions from like action, like you played a bit of Alan Wake 1, Landon. It's like an action game.
Yeah.
It's essentially you're running along a linear level.
I thought it was like a flashlight adventure game.
Basically, that's what the first Alan Wake is. The second Alan Wake is pretty much full on survival horror, pretty much.
Mm.
Like you have like an area you go about in, and certain areas are locked. It's like Resident Evil, basically. And there's not many enemies, and the combat is very much like I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, and 3 enemies can overwhelm you really easily if you're not careful.
Okay.
It's not like the first one where you just, you can just rip a flare and be fine. Like you can still rip a flare and be fine, but flares are really, really rare. At least at first. And so it almost is a complete genre transition, and I can see some people who really like the gameplay in the first one, which I don't understand, but if you do like it, you're going to be a little disappointed that it's not more of the same. With that being said, it's definitely one of the most creative sequels in one of the most creative games I've played in a very long time. With the way in like art direction and actual game design, and like for example, you have like in the sections you're playing as Alan Wake, you have on the board like you have this it's not a pause menu because the game doesn't pause, but you can go to this place called the Mine Place, where you have a board of different locations, and you almost pick up little scenes that you can apply to these locations. And because the story is that you're a writer and you write the story, and what happens is you can change by applying different scenes to different locations. You can change like the story that you're writing, and
That's interesting.
it'll change the world around you. And the farther you go through an area, the more scenes you unlock and the more writings you unlock, and you can go back and test out different scenes on different places.
That's kind of neat.
It's super neat. And then even like with the other character named Saga, there's like this case board. It's like you have little photographs with descriptions of things, of evidence, of people and statements, and you're like tying it all together, and you're navigating it, and you're like, okay, like a question like who's part of this cult or whatever, and you put down, and the game automatically gathers evidence and you sort your evidence that way, and you kind of progress the story sometimes that way by like sorting through your thoughts. It's something I've never seen before, except for it's not something I've seen. LA Noire kind of did it, but in a very different way. It kind of it has positives and negatives, but I really enjoy it so far, and it's a huge departure from the first game, very huge.
Okay.
First game is a cheesy action movie that is a video game. The second is like a horror story that is actually pretty good. So games, visuals, and art design, and just everything like visually is amazing. So even like I would encourage you just look up the opening cutscene. Honestly, it doesn't really spoil much, but it's like, wow, I want to play that game. So, but yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to play it through pretty fast because I'm trying to do a YouTube video on it, but I don't know if I'll get it out in time before the cruise. So,
Well, neat.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Nice, yeah.
highly recommend.
Was this like when did the first one come out?
2010.
Oh wow. Was this one that you were like really waiting on, or?
Since September, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
No. So I kind of always knew I wanted to play the first game, and then the first game was a free PS Plus game.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'll play
Free?
this game. I've heard friend of the show. What?
You said it was a free PS Plus game.
Technically, right. I use free liberally and very practically.
Hey,
and
I only
pragmatic,
pointed it out
so.
because you're the one that said it.
Okay. Anyway, it was a PS Plus game of the month. I should correct myself. And I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And I did a video on it, and I really enjoyed it. And friend of the show, Ben,
He loves Alan Wake, doesn't he?
he loves Alan Wake. Yeah, he loves it. And he actually played a bit with me when I was in high school, and he was still in high school. He kind of brought over his Xbox, the original like 2010 copy, and he was like, check out this game. And I was like, okay, cool. And so
It's like the most Ben.
I know,
Yeah.
like
bring an
shows up
entire
with a
Xbox.
360.
Yeah. And we played like the first chapter of Alan Wake, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And he's like, oh, it goes downhill from here. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I like never really looked in too much into it until the remastered came out, and I was like, oh, I want to get that, but I never did. But then it was a game of the month, and so I'm like, okay, just time to play it.
Well, you got me to download it because I think it was off the show. Is you described it as like this interesting marriage between Twin Peaks and the Twilight Zone, which to me sounds very intriguing. So I ended up downloading it to play because, well, I mean, I guess I played Firewatch, so I could talk about Firewatch too.
Yeah,
Ooh.
talk about Firewatch.
Forgot about that.
I just bought it for $5, so no major spoilers, but
Yeah.
you can give opinion-based stuff.
So when you watch the fires watch you.
Stop.
So I guess you've played Firewatch.
Yep.
You
I
haven't.
mean, you guys could probably spoil. Like, I'm probably not going to play this. There's a chance I might.
I would
It might
recommend
just walk
playing
my
it
library.
because then we can talk about it. Also, it's extremely short. I played it in one day, basically. I played about half of it in the morning, and then I did a bunch of work around the house and did some shopping. Then I came back and then finished the game all before Bree got back from work. So I just did it on a day off. You could probably beat it in like, what, 3 hours, 3.5 hours?
I think when I was recording for my video, I recorded the whole game, and it was probably 3.5 hours, and that was with like going about testing things, like doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for the video, so like wandering off to the side, wandering about. So you can definitely get it done if you
If you use your skill points correctly, you can even get through it faster. So
Yeah, 3 hours, I would say.
Okay.
Max.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not sure where I'm going to find 3 hours, but
okay.
How about you not play Rocket League for 3 hours instead of?
How about you not play Roblox for 3 hours?
Oh, we can talk about Roblox.
I do want to talk about Roblox.
I really want to talk about Firewatch really quick, though. I really want to know your thoughts, Dave, on
Blah, blah.
not only Firewatch, but on my video as well.
So Firewatch, I mean, I'm trying to think what I could say with Colby. The gameplay I thought was fun. I mean, it's not difficult. It's not a hard game at all. I don't think there's any difficulty now that I think about it. I guess you point that out in your video, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It is a walking simulator. Would you call it a visual novel, Will? Expert at,
Not quite.
I
walking-
watched the
it's a
trailer.
walking simulator.
There's a little more gameplay.
If you want to
than
speak
visual
freely,
novel.
Dave, I could take my headphones off.
I
No,
would say
you're
walking
fine.
simulator is a bit more accurate.
I mean, it's
There's
a really
not really any way to lose.
it's a really pretty game. It takes place in the forests of Wyoming, and you are just kind of walking around the forest. There's this mystery that you're trying to solve, and it just kind of gets deeper and deeper. So it's very fascinating journey about that story, but also about mysteries in, I guess, in general, and what they're like, and what they're like in reality, and how that plays out for regular people. I guess some of the things I will say, I was expecting, I think, a scarier game, and it's really not a scary game. I was expecting maybe some weird paranormal stuff, and I don't know if
That's
it's
kind of what like the trailer alludes to.
yeah. I mean, and it's not super like that, but it's still an interesting story, and I think it's a good experience. But it is hard to, I guess, talk about without spoiling things, just because of the
I know,
nature of
yeah.
the game.
It's 100% story. So
Yeah.
And I guess the tone, the word I would say, it's not scary. It's melancholic almost.
Yeah. I probably didn't find all of the dialogue as charming as most people did. I don't know if that's maybe just a personal thing. It took me a while to kind of, like, I guess, get used to it, I suppose. I was not sold right away. I was kind of annoyed at first, but
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But I mean, it kind of, I don't know if it's like it grows on you, but I mean, it grew on me to the point where I was like, oh, okay, you know. I also, I probably was playing, I guess, because you can make some decisions at the beginning of the game that I guess don't really affect anything. I'm going to guess some of the decisions I made and dialogue choices I made aren't going to be what most people do in the game. Which
Did you do that on purpose?
no, because I didn't know anything about the game. But after like getting to certain parts of the game, I was like, well, there's no way. Like, I was like, oh, of course, people are going to choose these options and going to say these things. But at the beginning of the game, when I'm like making these decisions, I kind of like was deciding this is what my character is based off of these things. So I think that probably affected how I view the ending, and I can see how a lot more people would be more disappointed in the ending of the game than I probably was, because my expectations were not what probably most people's expectations are going to be about certain things. And I'm pretty sure
Oh,
Will probably knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Landon might as well. So
I haven't played the game in a long time, so I can't remember.
I'm really excited to talk in depth about it.
Yeah,
Because I
so-
think
I didn't have that sort of disappointment, I guess, that most people do. But we can talk more about it once Colby plays the game. So
It's in my hands now.
it is in your hands. And then I really enjoy, like, as soon as oh, sorry, go ahead.
just one quick question for you, Dave. Would you say that your lack of expectations made the ending more effective or less effective?
I'd say it's about the same, probably, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say probably about the same.
Perhaps I'll bring it on the cruise.
Okay. But as soon as I finished the game, I think I went right away to my computer and I watched Will's Firewatch video, because he's been asking me to play Firewatch for months and watch his video for months. So I felt like I owed it to him.
That's
So-
a long one, isn't it?
20 minutes?
No, it's like 20 minutes. And I'd like you to know, Will, I
don't know where I'm gonna
I
find
did
20
not watch it.
minutes.
I did not watch it on double speed or 1.5 speed. I respected
Wow.
the art, so I watched it on triple
Creator?
speed. So it just
Wow. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna leave hate comments.
Please
No,
do.
I
It'll-
really
it'll boost the
enjoyed
algorithm.
I really enjoyed your video, Will.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm excited to play Alan Wake so that I can watch that video also, because I don't want to get spoiled.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah.
So-
I need to finish Alan Wake. One of the many games I need to finish.
Landon, you've played Firewatch.
Yeah, I
What do you think of Will's video?
haven't. I wanted to replay. I played Firewatch when it first came out, like almost 10 years ago. When did Firewatch come out?
2016.
2016. You're right. February 2016.
I mean, it's been so it's been
It
like
was revealed in 2014.
I haven't played it, so I bought it when the game came out. I haven't played it in like 7 years, so I can't remember everything.
Perhaps a 20-minute video will jog your memory.
I do recount the plot, 2-minute section. So
I'm just messing with you.
no, yeah, you're good, dude. It's fine.
Yeah, we
could play
already knew
together.
you were a bad friend, Landon. It's okay, you know.
Stop! Stop!
As someone who doesn't listen to the podcast, I didn't expect you to watch the videos.
Landon, I know you're really busy, and like if only you had a large period of time where you weren't doing anything.
I actually stayed pretty busy during those 6 weeks.
I know. I'm just giving you that.
Now be careful describing your activities on air. You don't want to get caught up.
I actually don't want to hear at all about any more of his activities because I know he's going to bring up anything that's going to be like physical therapy related, and I don't want to hear about that ever again.
I graduate from physical therapy. I was supposed to graduate today, but I was like on call and I like
super senior.
and I was.
You got held back, dude. You got held back
at
PT.
I got held back. Yeah, I was supposed to graduate.
He thought he was going to be graduating early, but he was not making the progress he expected.
Yeah, I couldn't. I got like called into work at like 3:30 this morning, and then like I was just like so tired that like I called them like 30 minutes before I was supposed to show up, and I was like, yeah, I'm not like gonna make it.
You're a busy boy these days.
So they pushed my last appointment till next Thursday.
Next Thursday?
This coming Thursday, like the next one that's gonna happen.
So a week from today.
Yes, yes, Colby.
Just one day before the cruise. What happens if you get held back? Can you not go on the cruise?
No.
He won't get into a good physical therapy college.
Yeah,
he won't.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're graduating, Landon. For some reason, I thought you already did that. So
No. I asked them what they're gonna do when they lose their favorite patient.
I bet that killed the crowd.
talk about Evil Dead instead, please.
I watched Evil Dead 2, which is like one of the weirdest movies I've ever watched. I think like it's like so zany,
Groovy.
Like, I feel like the opening 5 minutes, like basically like almost like they like somewhat reboot the first movie.
They redo the first movie like really quick.
First, like, 5 minutes. But they change it. Like they change it. Like they completely change like a bunch of the stuff that happens in the first one.
Well, I told you that like that's what they do because you can watch the first movie and you get like this own experience, but if you want to watch the second movie, you don't have to watch the first movie at all.
No. And I think the second movie is better. Like it's way funnier. The second movie's hilarious.
Yes,
like,
there's some,
in my opinion, it's so
really funny scenes, and it's like an off the wall horror
Bruce
comedy.
Bruce Campbell is like I don't even like know how to like his acting is like I feel like he's overacting so hard like with his facial expressions and like how he's like some of his line delivery, but it's so amazing like compared to everybody else that's like in the movie. I don't know, I love it, and it's super gory, which is awesome. But
forgot you love death and violence.
Do you have a different opinion now on chainsaws?
I always loved chainsaws. Yeah.
You watched that on Halloween?
I did, yeah. I watched it on Halloween. Yep. Gave out candy to the trick-or-treaters. Didn't have enough. I ran out.
Did you really?
Well, I only bought one box, like, full-size bars. Like, so... I only had 30.
You should have bought, like, 80 Carmelos.
Well, the year, yeah.
Landon's like, you know what's cool? Being the house that gives away candy. Or big candy bars. But what he failed to realize was the least cool thing is to be the house that runs out of candy. So...
Yeah.
Way more.
So did you have people like come to your door and be like trick or treat, and you're like,
as soon as I ran out of candy, I turned my porch light off.
Gotcha.
But it was bad because like I'm gonna out myself,
dude.
So like before I'd eaten a couple candy bars out of the box like in the week before because I hadn't had the willpower, and then before the trick or treat started showing up, I took one of each and set them aside for myself. I'm like, well, I gotta have a little candy for myself, right? And I was down to like there wasn't that many bars left, and like a group of like 10 people showed up at my house, and like I'm like, all right, guys, like take one, and like I'm getting down like, and I run out of candy bars, and like there's like one kid left, and like the group of 10 like didn't get one, and I just was like, in the moment, I was like too greedy, and I was like, oh, sorry.
Oh my gosh!
And I didn't go and grab.
You didn't grab it.
No,
dude, you just stared at the Hershey's bar on your coffee table.
Wow.
He was begging to be taken home by a child.
I handed out some ginger candy, so I had a bowl of ginger candy that I was giving out too.
And that day, Landon punched his ticket to hell.
Oh yeah. Like you think it took this long for that to happen?
Yeah, like it was
like this was the tipping.
This was stamp number 50. Okay.
Landon's gonna need a new hell passport.
Yeah, so I felt a little bad, but like I wanted my candy bars, man.
Well, you bought them.
You could have always gone. Yeah. You could have bought more candy. Like that kid, like he always will have not got candy from your house that night. He's gonna remember that moment when his 9 friends all had full size candy, and then poor Billy, he's like, you know.
It's a syndrome like origin story.
Landon like closing the door and he's like, "Go home, buddy."
Yeah, you created
It
a
was a girl.
monster.
It wasn't a guy.
You created a monster that
tore
night.
me apart. Taught me one thing: never look up to your heroes.
So I felt a little bad, but I mean,
I don't know, dude. You bought it.
I did buy it. It's Mike. After all, why should I share?
Did
I also bought a box of 30 chocolate bars, king size. And I got 0 trick or
It's worth
treaters.
noting Colby lives in a 3rd-story apartment building. It's like there was no way any trick or treaters. Like, the max amount he would get would be 3 from his neighbors, though. Like that's the max amount of
I
people.
feel like that's a strategy though. You go knocking on each, like you know how many like
I trick or treated in apartment buildings.
candy per minute you can probably get. You know, like there's like 4 doors in
KPM
like walking distance.
or CPM?
Boom,
My
boom,
bad.
boom, boom. Yeah.
Yeah. So my theory was, if I do get trick or treaters, I don't expect to get 30 of them. So they each get a couple king size bars, and then if they don't show up, I just eat the rest.
You should have lent some
I've
to
eaten, like,
Landon.
So I've eaten like 15 candy bars in the last couple of days.
It's a lot of candy bars.
What kind of candy
to be
did you
honest.
get?
It's a variety pack of Reese's, Kit Kat, Hershey's, and then Hershey's with almonds.
I like Hershey's with almonds a
I
lot.
love. Oh, they're so good.
Yeah. Have you ever had a frozen one?
No,
Oh, they're good.
should I go put one in the freezer?
I think you should. I mean, not right now
I bet Landon
because
wishes
you're
he
at
did.
Landon's house, but
I ate that last one this morning on my drive. So
You didn't even eat it that night.
only a fool eats all
Dude.
his Halloween candy that night.
wow.
I felt bad. I did feel bad about it, but like at the same. Like,
no, I don't know if you did.
No,
because we
no.
weren't-
Here's the deal, though.
You felt bad.
No.
You
Here's
would
the
have
deal.
taken the candy.
No, here's the deal though, because like I couldn't because like all these kids were standing there, and I was like, well, I'm almost out. I told them I'm almost out of candy bars. And then if I go like, well, actually, I got some more. Like, what if they rushed me? What if they knocked the door down?
What do you mean? What?
Well, there was one. I had a knock.
Take 10
I
kids.
also had a knock on the door, and I opened it. It was like 3 guys, and like they looked like borderline too old to be trick or treating.
Describe borderline.
Like they looked like they were probably like 14 to 15, which I think is like you're past the age. You're not trick or treating at 14 or 15, in my opinion. You shouldn't be.
I
Trick-or-treating.
didn't.
I didn't either.
So I looked at him. I'm like, hey, and I just went. I'm like, aren't you guys a little old to be trick or treating?
Yeah.
Like,
Landon.
Isn't that the
Was
thing
in a
that
PlayStation party with me.
every like curmudgeon character says on the Halloween special of every sitcom episode where they go trick or treating and then the old person
I
opens
was
the
in a
door and it says
PlayStation
that?
party. I was in a PlayStation party with Landon while all of these events are happening.
Also,
and I don't know how bad Landon actually felt about that candy.
My
bar.
favorite part- my
Pretty
favorite part about
hard.
the story is that he set aside 2 candy bars and kept both of them. Like if it was
no,
just
I set aside
one,
4. I set aside 4.
oh my gosh!
I set aside one of each. 4. I set aside one of each kind.
You could at least give her the Hershey's. That's the weakest of the group.
That's true.
What did you set aside?
One of each.
One of each. One Hershey's with almonds, one Kit Kat, and one Reese's peanut butter cup packet.
I do love a good Hershey's bar.
I had one of them that night.
I wish you had a candy bar in your hand, like half eaten, when you open the door for the kids, and then there's the one kid that doesn't get one.
You could have given her a beer or something.
Cool beer.
You got a few.
You could have been like the Hulk giving Ant-Man the taco meme. You could have been that.
Yeah, you could
I
have.
don't know. I mean, you
Could've
live and
made
you
a
learn. You
child's
live and you
day.
learn. The lesson I learned is I'll just buy more candy next year. That's a lesson, really.
That's a very important lesson.
That's really the real lesson is buy more candy.
That's
The real no. If
no,
you
this
learned
is
anything
capitalist
from
Landon
me,
speaking. Capitalist Landon.
if you learned anything from me, you'll buy the box of candy and you'll turn your porch light off next year. And then all of a sudden you got 30 bars and you're guilt free.
Yeah, why have 4 when you can have 30?
I didn't want
You
30.
paid for 30.
I wanted to give. I didn't think. I only bought one box because I didn't think that many people would show up. Because like the last year I handed candy out, like I had like 2 people show up.
Yeah, I know you bought a lot of candy.
I bought a lot of
Because
candy.
I was eating Carmelos through like January every time I'd come over.
Yeah. So
Well-
next year I'm gonna buy I would think I'll buy 3 of those boxes, and then I'll buy some like smaller sour candy to give out like individual.
I was gonna say lesson should be it's always better to have too much candy than not enough.
Yes.
Because that kid, I'm not joking, that kid is gonna remember. He's gonna remember.
Probably not. Probably not. I doubt it. A lot of Fortnite bananas in that group of people that showed up.
Yeah, that was another thing. Landon opens the door and he goes, wow, sure is a lot of bananas. And I hear one kid go, yeah, we love bananas. I was like, what is happening? They were all Fortnite bananas, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Peely?
Yeah, they were peely. I'm pretty sure the kid that didn't get one was wearing a banana costume.
What was
At least
the
that's, like positive.
what was the coolest costume you saw when handing out candy?
gonna be honest, like none of them were like that.
What was the worst?
One of the boys that was like too old to be trick or treating. He's like just like a military guy. Like it's just lame.
Dude, he was probably enlisted. He was in ROTC.
Yeah, I don't know. Feels like the ginger candies also was my way of like being a little bit of a trickster because like I know like
You're giving out tricks and treats.
Oh my
because
gosh.
there's no way like the average like 5-year-old or 6-year-old is gonna like a ginger candy like or, you know what I mean. So like part of me was like,
So
Man,
you're
it was like
giving
trying to,
it to them?
force.
Wait.
Landon was like trying to like force this mom to like take a ginger candy.
well, she was talking about how like she's like I love ginger candies. Like they help me. I want to get car sick. And I'm like, well, do you like she hadn't taken one. I'm like, well, do you like want one? And she's like, I can't grab any candy. Like she was like dressed as like Edward Scissorhands or something. Like and she's like, well, I can't grab it. I'm like,
Feed
all
it to
right,
me.
well, okay. And I'm like, no. So
The image of Landon, like, because I know he wasn't wearing socks, stepping out onto his porch and like hand feeding, this woman
Unwrapping
dressed
the
as
ginger
Edward
candy.
Scissorhands
Like yeah, feeding it. Oh my goodness.
in front of a group of 10 Fortnite bananas.
this was in a smaller group. This was just 4. That group was just.
Just 4
4
Fortnite
Fortnite
bananas.
I think it was one of my neighbors. I think
Well, it sounds like it was a fun Halloween had by all.
Greedy Landon.
Yeah.
Probably the best Halloween I've ever had.
Really?
Maybe. I hate Halloween, but this one was all right.
Oh, you're
You're
weird.
such a negative person.
November 1st had some consequences from all the candy.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before I do a closing quiz?
Not really.
Oh,
I'm good.
Ask away, Dave.
All right. I'm going to see
Ask away.
how well you guys know your British slang. So these are common British expressions that are not common in the US, and they include words that have different meanings in Great Britain and the United States. So I have some of these, they're in different categories, and I try to start with some easier ones in each category. So if you know the answer, just go ahead and
Buzz?
shout it out, I guess. Or don't shout, please. Just speak the answer. Because we're all adults here, except Colby. All right. What is a
I'm so close.
what is a lift?
It's an
taxi.
Uber.
It's a taxi.
It's an elevator.
It's a taxi.
Will is correct. It is an elevator.
Get a lift. Get a lift, Mike.
Next
Is it
one.
a taxi.
What is a torch?
A flashlight.
Good job, Landon. It's a
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
flashlight.
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 All right. What is a jumble sale?
Underwear.
Jumble sale.
A yard sale. I want to say yard sale.
Oh,
It is-
great guess.
It's a
garage
yard sale. Yeah, yard sale, garage sale, rummage sale.
I was pretty off.
All right. Last one in this category. This might be a little hard. What is a trunk call?
A trunk call.
Oh, it's a booty call.
A trunk call.
A trunk call. This is a term for a type of call that people don't really use that term anymore because everyone has cell phones and everyone has this type of coverage.
Is it like a phone booth? Is it like a phone booth?
A trunk call is a long distance call. You guys remember when like you can only call local numbers and then long distance cost
I remember
extra?
that.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
Nuts.
All right, next category. These are games, like very simple, basic games, so nothing complicated like some weird board game. So, what is noughts and crosses?
Oh, shoots and ladders.
Tic tac toe.
It is tic-tac-toe, noughts and crosses. What about droughts? You guys know what droughts is?
Golf.
Routes. Give me about 10 more seconds.
Oh, you gave me droughts, mate.
Routes.
It's got to be
It's a
marbles.
board
marbles.
game. It's a board game. Uses a board.
Mousetrap.
No, it's
Backgammon.
a very basic board game.
Backgammon, checkers.
It is checkers, droughts. All right, last game. This is a card game. What is patience? Patience.
Solitaire.
Solitaire. Good job, Landon. All right, next category is
British are stupid.
next category is food. Again, I start easy and then they get harder. What are
Beans and toast.
What are-
beans and toast?
what are chips?
Fries.
Fries. Yeah.
Fries or French fried potatoes.
I love fish and chips.
Okay. I was just gonna say I just recently edited the episode where Will's talking about fish and chips and lemon stuff, and as soon as I said chips, I'm like, man, Will's gonna bring up fish and chips, and sure enough.
Tartar sauce is underrated.
All right.
It is underrated.
Next one. What are
You don't get to call them chips.
crisps? What are crisps?
Chips.
They are chips, potato chips. What are bangers? If you got a banger in the mouth, what is that?
A good time.
It's like bang. It's like sausages, right?
It's a sausage in the mouth. Good job, Landon. What's a jelly?
A jelly. That's like I want to say it's like any kind of like spread. It's just like a spread.
I guess I'll go with spread.
Do you have a guess, Will?
Yeah, probably spread. I have to go spread.
Jelly is a gelatin dessert, so think like Jello. Something it's gelatin. All right. Do you know what a cornet?
Too similar.
Do you know what a cornet is?
Is that school?
No, this
These
is
are
food.
Oh,
Cornet, is that like a funnel cake?
Are you thinking of Cornell?
yeah.
Cornet
Dude.
University.
Probably something from East West Bowl.
Is it a funnel cake?
Cornet.
Is that a car?
Stop.
There is a
I'm
brand
gonna go.
called Cornetto. Do you know what that is?
They're cookies.
There is a movie trilogy called the Cornetto trilogy.
I know. I know.
Do you know what those
What,
movies
Is it
are?
Bugles? Is it Bugles? Is it Bugles?
Oh, are they pastries?
No.
Is it a bar? Is it a
What type of food? He's talking about type of food.
alcohol?
It's
Talking
an,
about type of food, right?
it's an ice cream cone. So
Oh.
Cornetto is a brand. You know the Cornetto
Is it a
trilogy?
Cornetto or a bowl?
Cornetto
What's the
trilogy.
Cornetto trilogy?
It's
It's Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz,
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, and
Yeah, World's
The
End.
World's End.
So why is it called that?
Because each movie has a scene where there is a prominent, I guess, rapper of one of those, that brand, Cornetto. Anyway, it's referred to
Gotcha.
unofficially as the Cornetto trilogy. All right, last one for food. Do you know what a lashings is? Lashings?
Hash browns.
Or Brussels sprouts.
Asparagus.
This is not a food as much as it is a, I guess, referencing
dish.
to an amount of food.
A serving.
It's a heaping.
Yeah. I would
plate.
say that's a good answer. A lashings is a large serving of food or drink. So like if I had a lashing of chips, it'd be a large serving. It'd be a heaping serving.
The Lashing Man breakfast.
All right, next three.
Stop.
These are baby related. Do you guys know what a nappy is?
Ooh.
No.
That's like a binky, right?
No, is it a sleep sack?
It's a blanket, right?
No, a nappy is a diaper. A nappy, dirty nappy. You guys know what a pram is? A pram?
Is it like a crib?
Dude, you could ask me like regular baby stuff.
The pram a crib? It's
Kind of. It's a baby carriage.
Stroller.
Yes, stroller. That's a closer answer.
Boom.
All right,
Boom.
and then do you guys know what a dummy is?
the
Landon?
baby.
Dummy.
A dummy.
Binky.
Yeah, binky baby pacifier. All right,
my
next category is vehicle related. What
Man, fuck.
is petrol?
Gasoline.
Gasoline. What is a windscreen?
Windshield.
Windshield.
Obviously the windshield.
What about a boot? You guys know what a boot is?
The trunk. Of
That is the car trunk. What about a bonnet?
Perhaps the
A
roof.
hairnet?
The bonnet.
The hood.
That's the hood of the car. So boot is the back,
Nice.
bonnet's the front. Do you guys know what a lorry is?
Oh, I know.
Transmission.
Lorry. That's like
The bumper?
no, the lorry. That's like is that like a tram car, like a cable car? The lorry.
Do you guys have a guess, Colby
Um,
or Will?
I said the bumper.
I'm gonna go with back seat.
A lorry is a truck, like a semi-truck, or a
Oh.
like a
Gotcha.
many other words for that. What else are they called? 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Yeah, those type of trucks. Do you guys know what a silencer
I
is?
call them.
Silencer.
Is that a
Is it the muffler?
It's
the
the
muffler,
muffler. Good job. And then last one for vehicles. Do you know what a wing is?
Oh, the spoiler.
Fender?
That's not what Colby was talking about.
Kind of. They're similar, but
We'll go with that.
okay.
Fender it is.
Next
on that one.
next category are, I guess, professions. Do you know what a chemist is?
Oh, perhaps a
Pharmacist.
scientist.
It's a pharmacist.
It's a pharmacist. You know, the drug guy. What about a dustman?
Chimney sweeper.
That's a good
Janitor.
guess, but that's not.
A garbage man.
Garbage collector. Good job. And last one of this category, what is a red cap? Do you know what a red cap is?
Oh, a firefighter.
You're close.
Just a blue collar work.
Close as in it's, I guess, technically also emergency services.
Also just
An
EMS.
ambulance man.
EMS, like first responders.
A cop.
It is a cop. It's a policeman, a red cap. All right, I have two more that were kind of hard to categorize. This next one is a type of store. Do you know what an ironmongery is?
Ironmongery. Is
Is
that
that a
like a dry
grocery-
cleaners?
Grocery store?
Hardware store.
It's a hardware store. Good job.
Nice.
I would.
Nice.
that's one where I was reading. I was like, man, I really like that. I'd like to start calling them ironmongeries, but then no one would know
That's how I knew that.
no one would know what I was talking about. Plus, I'd probably look like
You know the local ironmonger is?
Yeah, I'd probably look like the biggest d-bag. Like, oh yeah, I need to go to see the ironmonger. Got to go buy some iron.
You get punched. You get beat up for that.
All right, last one. This is a type of animal that
Bear.
people like to keep. The word is moggy.
It's a cat.
That's a cat. A pet cat is a moggy.
Oh, me Moggy. Take me Moggy to the iron. Whatever.
So Landon has had moggies.
To the iron place.
Landon has had moggies. Colby has had a moggy, and Will has had moggies.
Cat?
Yep.
Boy,
Moggy.
Moggy in
Pet
the
cat.
boot.
Yeah. Put your
Dude,
moggy in
hold
the
on.
boot and drive to the ironmongery.
I saw a really sad video of these people in like a tornado or something, and they were Spanish. And it's because like they were like speaking Spanish. So
Yeah, I'm like,
Do
why
I
is
need
he-
to cut this?
Like, you
or?
no. You just see a cat like fly by the window, and somebody screams and go, "El gato!" like you like the pain in his voice. Like it was like his cat.
Yeah, it's flying.
Poor gato. Well, thank you for playing the British slang. You guys actually did very well. Good job. I was impressed.
I believe I won.
Yeah, I think I won actually.
No, you didn't.
I don't even know if you guessed.
I think
like,
Michael won this quiz. So,
Oh yeah, nice job, Mick.
all right. Well,
Thanks.
thank you. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Hotkeys podcast. We will be back next week, and I guess that'll probably be our last episode we record before we go on our trip.
Yeah.
So,
Where are we going?
I don't know. Listen and find out. All right. Well, thank you for listening. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
So long.
Bye.
Farewell.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Hotkeys podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, and other podcasting platforms. Visit our website, www.hotkeyspodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at Hotkeys Podcast and join our Facebook group at facebook.com/HKHotkeys. Please like and review us and subscribe to the show on whichever platforms you use. Finally, you can contact us via email at hosts@hotkeyspodcast.com.